Hey everyone, I just wanted to let you know about a manga series I've been enjoying. The reason I'm talking about it is because I was a bit surprised how much I enjoyed it. It's called Gal Gohan, and in Japan it's already completed, but here in the West there's still a few volumes to go. There's some that are not released yet. If you were to summarize the manga's premise, like as a list of bullet points, then it actually sounds a bit like a doujin or maybe like a generic harem plot all at the same time. I've seen people dismiss it as generic, but I kind of disagree on that. I mean, obviously, I'm talking about it now. I'm not saying it's a literary marvel, but I think it has some smart things about it that I appreciate. Overall, I think you can categorize Gal Gohan as a romantic comedy, and does have some harem-esque elements. It basically the story is about a schoolgirl named Okazaki Miku, who is a gal slash gyaru type character. And so it's about her relationship with Yabe Shinji, who is a teacher. Basically, Shinji makes a club, and like a cooking club, and she happens to be the only one who joins. And then there's other characters that also show up, like Miku has a group of gal slash gyaru friends, and there's another, like a more, uptight and proper student named Fujiwara, who also shows up. So yeah, it's all quite interesting. I think the real highlight of this manga is how the characters interact with each other, because they're all kind of different people, and it's interesting how their relationships develop over time. I think overall it's not as shallow as the premise may seem. There's, for example, Miko might be like, you might think of her as like a typical gal sort of character, the way she talks and everything. But she, the more the story goes on, you do notice, like, she actually has a lot of emotional intelligence, I guess, like when it comes to reading people and just being smart how she interacts with people. So I think that's actually quite interesting. Later, it's also revealed that there is a reason that she, dresses and has the makeup on and, all that, gyaru stuff, right? And all these little things, I think, add more depth than just a regular, ecchi romantic comedy thingy. Now, this whole teacher and student thing might seem a bit sketchy, hence why I said it sounds a bit like a doujin plot. But I don't know, it doesn't really, the Shinji never really, I guess he never really crosses the line. He's not as dense as some main characters, but he's still a main character, so, he's still dense to some degree. Since he's obviously also a teacher, that whole, trying to maintain a certain distance between your student thing does help out. Because how, let's say they're all in high school, and then you've got this main character who's like, he just like doesn't pick up on certain things. But at least in this situation, if it's a bit vague, then you can kind of justify it as him trying to just keep a distance rather than him being dense. And I think that makes the overall reading experience a bit better, because that whole dense MC thing, isn't as prominent as it is in so many other mangas and anime, right? For those of you who do like the ecchi, well, I can say, sorry if you can hear flipping noises, I am flipping through here. There is a very decent amount of, like different outfits in different situations. So that's cool. I'm just flipping through here, see like a random nurse outfit. I don't even remember that. I will also say that the translation is quite well done. So basically, how I don't really have a problem with this, like, putting the first name first and then the surname last, that's, I think most people know that's pretty common practice to do. And Japanese people will also flip it around, or flip the order of their names around to match Western formats, just because they know it's more normal or more understandable for them. But in this series is actually kept intact. So the surname comes first. You also see all these honorifics, they still exist, which is quite amazing. Also, Miku does call Shinji, like she gives him a nickname made from his last name. So Yabe, so it's Yabechi. So, stuff like that, I'm glad is intact. I would have hated to see them do a Funimation and then just completely mangle all of that stuff. I wonder if the quality of the translation is also one of the reasons why this manga is a bit more interesting than some other examples that maybe fit in this genre. Because the depth of the conversation remains intact rather than things being, changed to adhere to some sort of Western standard, and then maybe something kind of goes out the window when it comes to subtlety. It's a bit hard to just describe now, just talking about it, of why I think there's something more to this than some other mangas in this genre, but I think it has to do with the fact that, characters, I mean, it's like this in real life as well, right? You see a person in real life, and most of the time you can kind of categorize them based on how they look, whether it's a voluntary thought or not. And then once you get to know them, you're like, oh, this person, also does this stuff, or like, you learn more about them, and then things you didn't expect is revealed. And that's how it works in this manga as well. So it starts off being kind of like, I guess you could say it would be like a seemingly generic setting, but then there's like a little nugget of information that is revealed, and then you're like, oh yeah, the teacher Shinji, he's having these thoughts about these subjects, or Miko maybe doubting some actions or things like that she's done in the past, or Fujiwara having she thinking about topics that she doesn't really talk to about with other people, because everybody has things that they don't vocalize but perhaps way undermined, or they think about. And I think that's kind of the strong point of this manga. So I actually did finish reading it, and even though it hasn't come out fully in the West here, in terms of official volumes, what I did was I read through the actual physical manga, and then I was so on a roll. It's like, they still haven't come out yet with the last couple of volumes. So I went online and just looked for the translations and read through it there. And yeah, that's what I did there. But yeah, overall, I would say there's lighthearted humor. There's good amounts of ecchi with like, whether it's situations or sexy outfits or whatever it may be. Interesting character, not just development, but also interactions. Decent art. Actually, more than decent art. I think it's actually quite good. Yeah, and for some reason I have 2 volume 8s. I just ordered them separately at different times, and I just forgot I did. So now I have 2 volume 8s, okay. But yeah, there it is. Check it out. Of course, you can just Google Gal Gohan, and then you can also see how, just find translations there and just read it for yourself and see if you like it. I have a feeling not many people will agree with me on this not being generic, but I don't know. It's like once you get into it, you feel like you just want to keep following the story of all these characters. So I think that's an important quality. But yeah, if there's anything else when it comes to manga or anime that I might want to share with you there, I'll try and do that. This was done off script with just a couple of bullet points, so it's not like super coherent, but that's what I like about the second channel. I can just kind of just put something out without working on something too much, because sometimes I'll just get caught up with script writing and editing, and it's like I don't always just want to do that. I want to there's other parts of the creative process that I want to get to, or maybe I just want to do things differently, because then going back to how I do things normally just seems a bit more fresh. So yeah, I guess that's it for now. Let me know what you think, or if there, if there's any like manga that you think is cool, maybe just mention it in the comments below. It's kind of cool to see, I guess, what people are reading. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.